All right, check, check. A little bit of coffee. How's it going, Gamer Dad? We're gonna look at some rare comic books that I just picked up at the convention. But first, I think I want to react to the new Fantastic Four trailer. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Let's see this. I haven't. I saw that a new trailer came out. Not that one. That one. All right, so yeah, I want to take a look at this new Fantastic Four trailer. I'm super excited for this movie. I love just my initial thoughts. I love the fact that you have Herbie. I love the fact you have a proper thing where they're actually showing how powerful the thing is. There's a lot of great things about the Fantastic Four from what I've seen already. So let's take a look at this trailer. Excuse me.
Famous around the world, please welcome the Fantastic Four.
I love the old school technology. I love the fact that they decided to do this in the 60s or whatever you want to call it, which is when they first Fantastic Four comic books started in the 60s with Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. So I love that motif or whatever you want to call it for this movie. Oh, we actually got to see a little bit of him stretching. Hold on. Oh yeah, look at that. I got to see that one more time. Stretching, I feel like that power is hard to make look good. Looks good though. Visible girl, or woman rather.
Human Torch. I love you, Johnny. And the Thing.
Hey, what time is it? Say the thing.
That's not really.
It's clobbering time.
It's clobbering time.
That's in the cartoon.
What I really want the Thing to mention in this movie is his Aunt Petunia. Hey, Frosty Man, how's it going? We're just watching this trailer real quick. I just saw that it came out today, and I just want to, see the latest trailer. This must be the last trailer that comes out before the movie. So excited to see this. I hope it doesn't spoil too much. But yeah, I really want him to mention his Aunt Petunia in the movie because that's something that the Thing does all the time in the comics. He'll make a joke, oh, that's uglier than my Aunt Petunia or whatever, something like that, So that would be a funny reference. Working on a new comic book table? That's awesome. What's up, Jack? I saw your last one, Frosty Man. It looks dope. I would love to have a table like that. It's cool to have a place to display all your comics. It's clobbering time.
That's just in the cartoon.
I love the Fantastic Four chorus.
Never late for Sunday dinner. Let's eat.
Hey, what time is it?
It's dinner time. Get inside.
Here we go again. All right, the Silver Surfer. I said this before when I watched this trailer. I'm not sure why they went with his wife as the Silver Surfer, but there is precedent for it. Presidents, whatever. It was done in the comics, so it's not like that far out of left field that they chose her to be Silver Surfer. Instead of Norrin Rad. That's new. Hold on, what is that? I have no idea what that is. A ship of some kind?
What is that?
Wow. New Galactus footage. So awesome. Oh, and that was Galactus's ship. No way. Okay. In the comics, hold on, I got to show you what the Galactus's ship looks like in the comics. This is Galactus's ship in the comics. right? So obviously they're not going to do it like that because that is a very cool Jack Kirby design, but let's update it a little bit. It looks like this is what they updated it to, which is really cool. He does have a ship. He doesn't just fly around space. Really cool.
Are we safe?
I don't know. The clock is ticking.
That's Franklin Richards, the most powerful mutant, the most powerful person in all of Marvel Comics, it could be argued, as far as hero anyway.
We are going to find a solution. We are going to make it right.
You don't want to just crush him, hide that.
Herbie, I love the new Fantastic car.
Plus, we'll face the danger.
I'm happy they updated the design.
Protect you.
Family. It's about connecting to something bigger than yourself. Oh,
What is that? I have no idea what that is.
as a family.
Maybe that's something Galactus is doing to prepare the planet to be devoured. In my opinion, this thing looks amazing.
No. What time is it, Ben? No, Johnny. Say it. I don't wanna. Say it.
I love the chorus. Amazing. Frosty Man, I'm not sure if I'm liking the cast yet. You know what? I'll tell you this. I was a big fan of the fan casting of John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, and they gave us a taste of that in the Doctor Strange movie. And I like the casting for the Thing. I like Pedro Pascal in general. I think he's a great actor. So, like, if you told me choose an actor to play Mr. Fantastic, I wouldn't have chosen Pedro Pascal. Like, it just wouldn't have come to my head. But I think he'll do a good job. I don't know anything about the actress playing the Invisible Woman. So I don't really have an opinion there. I hope she does great. And then the actor playing the Human Torch, I'm a little bit worried about that role. He strikes me more as a more serious actor, and the Human Torch is always playing pranks on the Thing and stuff, and he's actually, Chris Evans was actually a pretty good comics accurate Human Torch in a way. So, anyway, overall, that trailer was amazing. This movie is going to be so good. I'm so hyped for Superman and for Fantastic Four. I think they're both going to be amazing movies. I think they're doing a lot of things right with this movie. The time it's set in, the technology that's available, the characters that are there, Herbie and everything else like that. They're doing Galactus. They're doing Galactus like a proper Galactus, and the Silver Surfer. I think this is going to be awesome. So, all right. Excuse me. Moving on from that. Let's get the music going again. I got a bunch of comic books at Heroes Con over the weekend. Yeah, it was. I'm gonna get into that right now. I'm gonna show some of the comics that I got. How's it going? I got Issues. I like that name. I got a bunch of really cool comic books. The one I put in the thumbnail was this one, which I never thought I'd get this book in my collection, but I did get it with an asterisk. So I'll explain that. Actually, why don't I just jump right into that right now? Also, I remounted my overhead camera so that if I shake the desk, the camera doesn't shake. So I'm pretty happy about that. It's a small thing, but details. All right, let's just start with the biggest one up front right here. This is the first appearance of Poison Ivy. Now, the caveat is right here. And if you can read that, it says missing centerfold. So there is a centerfold that has the centerfold on the inside, and on the outside there is some story content, which I was hesitant to buy it. If it was like ads on the outside of the centerfold and then the centerfold, I wouldn't have cared that much. But there's some panels on there. So this isn't complete. It's only missing the very center, the most center page, the centerfold, because some kid got this comic book and was like, "Oh, this is so cool! I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna put it on my wall." Now the book is worth $125 instead of $2,200. That being said, I'm pretty sure I have the Batman Silver Age omnibus that this book is like contained inside, so I can go read this book in its entirety from my omnibus collection if I want to. I think this is in my Silver Age Batman books. I have to double check. I know I have Silver Age Batman because the Bronze Age is Brave and the Bold, but I think there's, anyway, I'm pretty sure this is in the omnibus. If not, there are other ways I can read this. Excuse me. So I'm okay with buying it like that. I'm okay with getting it like this. The condition's okay. You know, it's got a lot of creases and color breaks and stuff, but there's literally no chance of me getting this comic book in my collection right now anyway, if it's not something like that. So I'm super happy to have picked this up. I will eventually take a lot of these books that I've been buying and trade them up for bigger grails, but I'm not at that point in my collecting right now. I have I got a bunch of boxes full of really cool Silver Age books and stuff like that, and I'm gonna wait until I know what I want to get, and I'm gonna trade up for some really cool stuff. I think I'm gonna rebag and board these books real quick too. Hold on. So for the valuable stuff, these are the bags and boards I use. These are the archivals or whatever. They're Mylar bags, 2 milliliter or millimeter, sorry, Mylar. And then I have these boards. I don't care how good the bag and board is of wherever I get my comics. I always put them in my own bag and board. Yeah, you know what? They're expensive, but they make the book look so much better. I actually think that the vendors, if the vendors take the time to put their rare books or their Silver Age stuff or whatever in Mylar bags or just in good bag and boards in general, I think they sell more. They must sell more comics, because when I'm going to some of those booths, like at the con, that have really good bag and boarding, it makes the books more appealing to me. Now I have to be so freaking careful with this thing. The staples are still attached, and I want to keep it that way. There's that. It's not the most valuable thing I bought at the con because of the fact that it's missing the centerfold, but it is the thing that could be the most valuable if it was complete. It's the biggest key I got at the con, I would say that. But we're gonna go through a bunch of the stuff that I got from the convention, and I'll show you some of the other stuff. I'll show you some of the stuff that I was like looking for and what I was kind of trying to collect. I'm not gonna put the tape on these right now. I'm just gonna get them into the bag and board. There it is in my bag and board. I think it looks pretty good. All right, here's another one. Ignore these. Yeah, Mylar bags, man. It makes such a big difference. Like, watch, I'm going to put this one in a Mylar bag. Ignore these prices. I always negotiate. I actually think this booth in particular had good pricing and good estimates of what these comics were worth. I didn't pay $50 for this book, but I do think it's probably worth that. I got a deal because I bought a bunch of books. Something I want to say about this comic actually is that I kind of want to submit to to Key Comic Collector that this comic should be considered an iconic cover by John Romita Sr. because I see this book for crazy prices when it's in high grade. And personally, this is one of my favorite covers by John Romita Sr. I know everyone loves the one that's the first appearance of the Kingpin. This I just think is dope. I mean, look, I've never seen a better way of displaying like the speed of a speedster on a cover than this, especially for this era. So this is a really cool book. I think this should be considered a key just for being an iconic cover by like I said, by, oh my gosh, I can't think right now, John Romita Sr. I've been collecting a lot more John Romita Sr. lately. I absolutely love his art. His stuff on Spider-Man's amazing. How do I get my comics graded? I'll tell you this. You can mail them in. If you go to cgc.com, it's probably, I think it's just cgc.com. Let me double check. Hold on. Let me look it up. CGC. Oops, I put an X in there. CGCcomics.com has a whole breakdown of how you can mail your comics in to get graded. Another thing you can do is you can go to a convention in your local area, this is what I usually do. If you go to a convention in your local area where CGC is going to be attending, you can literally just bring your books to them and you'll fill out a form and they'll grade them and they'll mail them to you. Since I don't get that many books graded, and there's a big con in my area that CGC attends every year, I just save my comics I want graded for then, and then I just go get them graded at the convention. I just brought a beautiful ASM 66 with Mysterio. Yeah. Oh man, I know exactly the one you're talking about. I think I love that cover with Mysterio. And I told, I saw John Romita Jr. at this con, and I told him like I've been so, and his dad just passed away a few years ago. I told him I'm really into collecting John Romita Sr. lately. It's some of my favorite artwork I think from Spider-Man ever. Let me grab another one. All right. This is just a cool Eric Larson cover. This is actually in the Spider-Man vs. Venom omnibus. It's like one of the first pages that you open up. Oh yeah, first printing of Absolute Batman. That could be a good one to get graded because people are really loving the Absolute universe, and it could have some value one day. I mean, it's like when they first came out with the Ultimate Universe from Marvel. A 9.8 of Ultimate Spider-Man 1 I think has some value. This one goes into a modern size bag. Yeah, right. I think Eric Larson was definitely like emulating Todd McFarlane's style, which is a good thing because Todd McFarlane's art is awesome. But I think he has in his own right. He's a really good artist. Gotta open these up. This playlist of music is from my brother made this playlist and he shared it with me. And I haven't heard all the songs yet, but I just listened to this while I'm streaming, and I'm like, man, he chose really good. For a second, I thought this was signed. I was like, I didn't get this signed, but that's just his signature on the artwork. All right. All right. Now these two, I was looking for these I've looked for these every year at the con and I can never find them at the right price. This is the first cameo appearance and the first appearance of Damian Wayne, which is pretty cool. I like Damian Wayne a lot as a character. We got two of these for this one. What's the best omnibus remaining coming out this year? You know what? I haven't been keeping up with the omnibuses that are coming out as much. One I missed out on, which I wish I hadn't, was the Amalgam omnibus with the DC Marvel Amalgam omnibus, and it got really expensive. And so I wish I hadn't missed that one. I don't know what the best Omni is coming out this year, but I got to tell you something. I got a lot of omnibuses. Actually, hold on. Let me see this real quick. Hold on. Hold on. I got to get my phone view up so I can show off the omnibus collection. So if I go to this view, yeah, there we go. And some over there too. Thank you. I didn't realize I still had my mic off. Do I do Whatnot? No. Although I may buy some books on Whatnot. I'm not sure. Anyway, what I was saying about those two books is that I finally found them at a good price, and I'd looked for them in a lot of different cons, and, you know, I just didn't want to pass them up, even though that's not exactly what I was looking for at the con. All right, what else do we got? Here's some cool stuff. How's it going, Comic-Con 6? All right, let's see here. Back to this. No, this one. All right. This is actually the same kind of bag and board I would use, but I'm going to switch it anyway. This is awesome. This is maybe the best Neil Adams cover for X-Men, because Neil Adams did like 10 books, I think, for X-Men. And I love the Sentinels. I love the classic old school Sentinels. And this one is just dope. So I'm so happy I picked up this book. And then what we have here is the death of Jason Todd, the death of Robin. Interesting fact about this one that not a lot of people know is that, well, actually a lot of people know this. They had the, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but they had the readers vote on if he would die or not. And they voted that they wanted him to die, which is pretty amazing. I wish they still did that in comics. Well, you know what? They did do something similar to that with the X-Men, what's it called? The Hellfire Gala recently. I think they had people vote on who would be in the new X-Men team. which I thought was kind of cool because they could do so many cool voting things nowadays with modern technology, you know, to do a quick, like, hey, go to this website and vote on, you know, whether or not a character is going to die, or like a decision that happens in the comics. They could do it for anything. And it would be cool to have like reader interaction more like they used to do in the old days where you used to have to like mail it in, you know? So yeah. All right, these are, I'm gonna put this one in Silver Age, this one in a modern. My Grail, would probably be maybe like an X-Men 1. You know, I'd have to get like a 0.2, but or maybe trade up to it eventually. I think an X-Men 1 would be a Grail for me. I'm trying to think what else would be. Like what would be my DC Grail? That's a good question. I don't know. For Marvel, I think it's X-Men 1. Look at this book, man. This is pretty cool. Still printed on newsprint in this era. Is this the right size bag for this, actually? I think so. There he is. I mean, because like I would say, oh, you know, my Grail for DC is, you know, Detective Comics 27. But I will never own that book, and I've accepted that fact, and that's okay. I'm never going to own the first appearance of Batman or Superman or Batman 1 or Superman 1. Because, well, you know, if I win the lottery, maybe I will. Or if I just become a millionaire in my own right. All right, there's the Neil Adams X-Men, and here's the death of Jason Todd. All right, here's some more. Let me look this one up real quick. What is it? Strange Tales 157. Oh, okay. First cameo appearance of the Living Tribunal. That's what this book is. I couldn't remember the key on this one. This is one that I just came across in the going through the boxes, and I was like, this looks cool. I mean, I think this is Steranko. Yeah, it is Steranko. I'll never wait in line for his signature again. Way too long and way too expensive. But we looked it up and we're like, oh crap, that's the first cameo appearance of the Living Tribunal. That's really cool. It's a big part of Marvel Cosmics, so that's why we bought that one. And then this is the first appearance, I believe, of Terrax. Mine would be ASM 1 and Amazing Fantasy 15. Yeah, those books are, yeah, that would be amazing. I honestly, I like when I just getting to see those books, like at the con, those books were there because this con is crazy. There's like everything there. Just getting to see those books like but under glass is cool. You know, I saw this one old image of like an old newsstand. This is like from the 40s or something like that, or 40s or 50s, and it's like black and white, and there's like a bunch of Superman 1s sitting on the at the stand, like on the shelf at the stand, and it's like, wow, that's like millions of dollars worth of comic books in this old picture. You know, that, imagine knowing that back then. Yeah, I want to touch them if I could do it without damaging them. This is the first appearance of Terrax, what is his name? Terrax the Teamer or something. He's a really cool. I think he's a really cool Herald of Galactus. And this is John Byrne art, which is awesome. Oh, and I think it's Joe Sinnott is the inker. You can see Byrne and Sinnott right there in the corner. He's a really cool Herald of Galactus, I think, and he can control the Earth. That's why part of the reason why he's called Terrax. And this is when he first came around. So that was a cheap pickup, but you know, I did read John Byrne's Fantastic Four omnibus, and I loved it, so I thought that was a good one to pick up. You know what? I was recording this. I think I'm going to stop my recording because I don't think I need this whole thing recorded. No, I'll just keep recording it, whatever. It brings me so much comfort to put these books in a proper bag and board. It stresses me out when I have all these random, like, I just like uniformity, you know, and to know that they're in a good bag and board. I don't have that many modern boards left, so I hope I have enough for this. So that's a modern board. That's a silver board. Which one of these is the silver? Hold on. Yeah, that one's silver. Okay. Yeah, I decided I would do this on stream just because I wanted to do it and I wanted to talk about the books, but now I'm thinking, man, it takes a long time to bag and board these things. I could get through these books faster if I wasn't bag and boarding them, I guess. First Living Tribunal, I kind of want to see it. Yeah, have a good one. Have a good one, man. Is it, so, let's see where it is. I actually don't know what I'm looking for, but I do know that it's in here. The old ads in these books, I think they're hilarious. Wait, hold on. Now we got the Doctor Strange. Oh, it must be in Doctor Strange. Yeah. Okay. So it's in the, because these old Silver Age books would have two stories in them. One for one character, and then it would also have like a backup story or whatever, a second story, which this one is Doctor Strange. So of course, if we're gonna get the first appearance of the Living Tribunal, it's probably gonna be in the Doctor Strange portion of the book. Oh, there he is. Wow. And that's not a small cameo. Look at that. It's the whole page. That is so cool. Wow. I'm really happy with that. That's awesome. Okay. Sometimes when it's a cameo, it's like, oh, it's like the shadow of the character is in one panel, or like an outline, or like they're in a cloak, you know, and you can't see them completely, kind of like Killer Croc was. But in this case, that is a full-fledged Living Tribunal in the flesh, so that's pretty cool. All right, this next book's kind of in the same vein. This one right here. Now, I forget what... this one, I think, is the first cameo appearance of Destiny. What is it? Strange Tales 138. Oh, I'm not Destiny. I'm sorry. Eternity. First appearance of Eternity, twin brother of Infinity. You know what? Let's look for that one too. Oh, and then this is a really awesome Neil Adams cover. So I didn't even know this book existed, and this is one we just looked up. And Neil Adams is awesome. And yeah, there's his signature right there, Neil Adams. And what he's saying here: in seconds, the kryptonite implanted in my body will kill me, but before I die, I'm taking you with me. I thought that was pretty awesome. So that's why I picked that one up. You know, I collect Neil Adams just like everyone else who likes Batman and stuff collects Neil Adams. All right, so the first appearance of Eternity is in here. Let's see. Hopefully this is like the first appearance of the Living Tribunal, where you get like a full panel of him or her or it. I mean, it's a god, it's an entity, really. I don't know if it has a gender. How's it going, Father Son? Father Son Vintage Cards 2. All right, here's the Doctor Strange portion of the book. We're looking at my pickups from Heroes Con. Ah, there it is. There's Eternity. So this is the first. Is this the first cameo appearance? No, this is the first appearance of Eternity. Yeah, there it is. Awesome. And we saw Eternity in the latest Thor movie. If I don't fat finger this. Right, so there's Eternity in Thor. And here's the first appearance of Eternity in the comics. That's pretty awesome. So I need one Silver Age, and this is going to be a Modern Age comic, I think. Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right, there's Silver, Modern. I did it again. I forgot which one's the Silver Age book. All right, it's this one. This one's in really rough condition, but I mean, for as annoying as Steranko is as a person that you're trying to get a, I don't mean he's actually annoying. Steranko is a nice guy. He's not a bad person. But I have had frustrations waiting in his line trying to get a comic book signed before, only to get there and realize he's charging $50 for his signatures. So sometimes I make I throw a little shade at him. But it's all, you know, all that said, he's a, you know, a really amazing artist. I think he was kind of ahead of his time in terms of his comic book art in the Silver Age. I think this stuff looks amazing. All right, what do we get next? All right, here we go. We got Tales of Suspense. So this one is a key because it is and again, ignore these prices because I either didn't pay them or there was discount or this and that, whatever. But this is the origin of Captain America Retold, which is pretty cool. Let me look this up though, because this other one, Tales of Suspense 65. Can't type today. Okay, so this one, first appearance of Red Skull in the Silver Age. George Maxson, the first Red Skull in a retelling of a story from Captain America 1. As of there are only 3 copies of 9.8, with the only record sale being Pacific Coast. Okay, whatever. So this is the first, long way of saying this is the first appearance of this of the Red Skull in the Silver Age, which is pretty cool. I gotta be really careful with these. There's the swastika on his chest, of course. I love the comic book heroes fighting Nazis stuff, like Invaders. I think it's pretty good that Roy Thomas did. And there's like 3 first like appearances or whatever you want to call it of Invaders. Not first appearances, but for Invaders, there's the first team appearance of the Invaders, which came in an Avengers book. Then there's Giant Size Invaders 1, which is like it's like annual 1, but it's like the first of the team in, you know, fighting the Nazis. And then there's Invaders number 1, and I have all 3. But yeah, so this book right here I think is really important because this is like, you know, the MCU's Captain America that we got. It's because of this book that it was his Captain America's origin was told in the way it was, because this established what was true for Captain America's origin in the Silver Age. So it's here, right? Why they chose him. This is him actually going in and taking. Look, in the comics, he just drinks the super soldier serum and he's like all skinny, right? And then it makes it like, it just turns him into this like beast, right? But you know, obviously they stepped that up for the movies to make it a little bit more dramatic. He goes into like a machine where he gets injected with the super soldier serum. Anyway, very important book to the history of Captain America. Fun with tons. I have a question for you. I have an Amazing Spider-Man number 9, graded at a 6.0, signed by Stan Lee. Wow. Actually, okay, let's find that out. How much did you sell that for? You said it's, I'm guessing you're saying AMS number 1, so Spider-Man, or AMS 9. So Spider-Man 9. It's probably this one that you're talking about, right? Amazing Spider-Man 9. If this is the book that you're talking about. Yes, okay. So if we go on eBay and we do sign Stan Lee, right? And then we look at past, how do we do this? I want to look at sold. Okay, hold on. There should be one in here where we can look at sold. Publication grades. Yes, signed. Signed, yes. Buying format. Here we go, sold items. So here's all the signed ones sold. Oh yeah, this one has the purple on the label, so it makes it less. Wow, I don't actually see that many sales of that book because I'm on eBay. So I don't know. Is it still coming up with, yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 9 signed by Stan Lee? I'll tell you this. It's worth a lot of money. It's Stan Lee's signature on an old Spider-Man, and you said it was a 6.0. That's a pretty good grade for an old Silver Age book. You're talking thousands. But I don't know the exact price. I would go through eBay like I just did and try to find any previous sale of that book to try to gauge. Or you can go to Go Collect. Go Collect has is a website that keeps all the previous. It actually makes it easier to see there all the previous sales of a certain book, and it'll tell you what they're worth in a different grade. So, all right, let's put these in bag of board and let's get some new comics out. There we go. Yeah, no problem. I love these old books, man. I'm a Silver Age collector, and I just can't get enough of it. It's Jack Kirby era, you know, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee in their prime, changing the history of comics with what they did. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great stuff at DC. I'm a huge DC fan too. I don't lean hardly like one way or another. Actually, if I have to be honest, I probably lean a little bit more towards DC in terms of like modern comics that I read and stuff and characters that I like. But Marvel was in the Silver and Bronze Age. I give Marvel the edge for sure in terms of quality of stories and art. Oh, that's awesome. Collecting Silver Age Ghost Rider. Yeah, I just started getting into collecting the 90s Ghost Rider with Danny Ketch because I have that omnibus now and I'm reading it. It's great. And Howard Mackie was supposed to be at Heroes Con, and he couldn't because he got a flight got canceled or something. I don't know. And so I couldn't get my Ghost Rider 1 signed by Howard Mackie. I have it right here though. There it is. This isn't as valuable as, of course, the Silver Age Ghost Rider, but I think this is a cool book, and I could have got it signed, but unfortunately I couldn't. Yeah, and if you haven't read this run, maybe you've read it already. I don't know. I'm reading it for the first time. It's great, man. The 90s was a great era of comics. I also just read the Kyle Rayner Compendium, which is also in the 90s. And the 90s, like, they started being a lot bolder with, like, the violence and stuff that they would put into the books, like the whole refrigerator incident with Green Lantern. If you don't know about that, go read Kyle Rayner's first appearance. It's kind of crazy. Oh, and actually I have an interesting story about that. Let's just get right into it. Here is the first appearance of Kyle Rayner. This is the Tom Brady cover, I call it. And then here is the first Parallax Hal Jordan, and when he kills a bunch of Green Lanterns. And then here is when Kyle Rayner takes over as the Green Lantern. And I got all these books signed by the artist, Daryl Banks, which I think is pretty cool. And I think his art is amazing in here. And I asked him about the whole thing where Kyle Rayner's girlfriend basically gets killed by she gets unalived by Major I forget what it's called, Major Force or something, the one of the arch nemesis of Kyle Rayner, and he puts her into his refrigerator, and he gets back and he's like, what's in there? And it's like, it's your deceased girlfriend. Really violent. I'm really surprised that they put that into the comic books, but like I said, they were getting bolder with that kind of stuff in the 90s. And I asked Daryl Banks, the artist, about that, and he said he originally didn't have the refrigerator door covering the girlfriend inside of the fridge. And the publisher, and she was just like crammed in there, right? The publisher or whoever, no, the Comics Great Authority thought that it was too violent, so they made him cover most of it with the fridge door. And because of that, people thought she was dismembered, which is what I thought when I first read it. So he goes, it actually made it so much worse to cover it with the door than to have my original art in there. And I thought that was a really cool story. But yeah, this is the whole like beginning of Kyle Rayner is here. Tom Brady cover. These are pretty cool. I'm gonna rebag and board those as well. I've got Iron Man 1 in a 7.0. That is absolutely amazing. Wow. All right, we'll go for this one next. This is iconic Green Lantern cover by Neil Adams with the Golden Age Green Lantern and the Silver Age Green Lantern. And I also have a bunch of Spider-Man books right here. This is a Gil Kane Spider-Man cover, which is pretty cool. And this is a John Romita Jr. cover with Madam Web and the Juggernaut from Roger Stern's run, which I think is pretty cool as well. I read this issue in the Roger Stern Omnibus. My favorite hero is Batman. I know that is an answer a lot of people might give, but I just think that Batman has some of the best stories written for him of any character in all of comics. I think he's a character that lends himself to being able to write good comics about him because he doesn't have superpowers and because he has a tragic past Yeah, right. And I think some of the best stories ever told in comics were done about Batman. And some people don't like Batman because they think that writers use the Joker too much or whatever. You see the same rogues all the time, but I don't think that's necessarily true. You still see new Batman villains all the time. We just got Failsafe in modern comics, right? And Failsafe is that robot that Batman created in case he ever were to go too far and like unalive someone. He literally made a failsafe robot that would that could deal with the whole Justice League, that had kryptonite to deal with Superman, whatever, that would go in and take him out if that ever happened. And that's a brand new concept. And so I think you still get cool Batman villains. And also because Batman's superpower kind of is that he does have a superpower in a way, right? Which is that he's like always got a contingency plan for every scenario. And that's what makes it so cool, because you can make for some really like clever moments where Batman like knew all along what you were going to do and was ready for it and stuff like that. And I think that's just really cool. Oh, The Last Night. Oh yeah. Is that the Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo like story they did? It's kind of an Elseworld story or whatever. Yeah, that one is really good as well. And I love that combo of creators on Batman. All right, 3. So this is the first appearance of this character. I don't know that much about him. What is this one? Amazing Spider-Man 344. Let me look that up. Oh, this is the first appearance of Cletus Cassidy. Right. So this is the first appearance of the character that would eventually become Carnage, right? So that's pretty cool. I'm actually surprised that this book is so cheap, because Carnage is like, people love Carnage as a villain. And this is his first, this is Cletus, but this is, just Cletus Cassidy. This is who the symbiote would bond with eventually to become Carnage. So at this point, I don't think Carnage was even thought of like as a thing that was going to happen. All right, okay. Cardiac? This right here? Wait, who's Cardiac? Oh, the guy next to the Rhino. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Cardiac. I wasn't even looking at that. Yeah. The Rhino's a cool character design, I feel like. And I have the second appearance of Rhino and the third appearance of Rhino and the first appearance of Mary Jane right over on my wall over there. Here, actually, check this out. All the way down at the end over there, there's the second appearance and third appearance of Rhino. All right, and then I need 3 of these. I hope the music is loud enough for you guys to hear it, because I'm jamming right now to this house music and stuff. And like I said, my brother made this playlist and he did a great job. What is your holy grail in your collection? I have so many books that I really like. It's hard for me to pick a holy grail like of my collection. I have some here. I have one that I really love right here. Although this isn't really that much of a grail or anything. This is Iron Man. It's signed by John Romita Jr. I have a bunch of stuff signed by him. And I love this book. But I also have like this one right here, which I got signed by all the creators. So Brett Breeding, Ron Friends, and Tom DeFalco. And I actually I got this signed by them, which and it came back as a 9.6, so close to the 9.8. But this is definitely one of my favorite books in the collection. And, this is like the unofficial first appearance of Venom. It's not really right, but because they didn't even know that this was going to be a symbiote called Venom when they created this book. But it's the first black spider suit. And I also just like the art and the storytelling and everything around this time. This is a really awesome era of comics. So I really love this one. Yeah, the cover is amazing. And then I have this one, which I love this one because this is one of my favorite Jim Lee covers. And this one is signed by Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee and Alex Sinclair and Scott Williams, which is amazing. My wife got this for me, actually. So, and this is from the Hush saga, which is you just compound things on top of each other that make it so cool. I just love having a Jim Lee signature in my collection, and this cover is such like peak Jim Lee. I actually think this should be considered more of a I don't know. I guess it's so modern that it doesn't have that much value, but I think it's awesome. What is my oldest Batman comic? I have Batman going back to the 60s. So it's going to be early 60s Batman. I don't know which one is particularly my oldest, but it's probably around 61 or 62 would be my oldest Batman comic book. Oh, you have some books signed by Jim Lee? Yeah. I mean, Jim Lee, and you know what? He's still around and he's still signing books all the time. So you can still get it, but he's busy being the president of DC. And by the way, I think he's doing a great job at that. All right, let's put these in bag and board. This run by Roger Stern, if you haven't read it, there's an omnibus, and it's so good. And it's so I think you get the first Hobgoblin is one of the big things in Roger Stern's run. And the art is all John Romita Jr., but this is John Romita Jr. before he kind of adapted his modern style, which some people like that better. I like both. But I highly recommend reading this Roger Stern Spider-Man run. It's really good. A friend of mine has Batman 1, and I've tried to buy it, but he won't sell it. No way. Is it? What condition is it in? Is it graded? Or is it raw? Oh my god, I'd be so nervous having a raw Batman 1. There's a Spider-Man books. By the way, if you weren't here earlier, this is one of the biggest keys I got at the convention. But just to recap on this book is missing the centerfold. So I got it for a lot cheaper, and actually this might be the oldest Batman book I have. Hold on, let me look. This is Batman 181. Oh, 66. I probably have older stuff than this. But, look at the high grade. This is worth over $2,000. But, mine is not high grade and it's missing the centerfold. But I'm super happy to have this book in my collection. I don't care. I can read this book in the omnibus, and I think this is a really cool book. And I think I love Poison Ivy. I remember Poison Ivy in the Arnold Schwarzenegger Batman movie where he's Mr. Freeze, and I think it's the George Clooney ones. And did I put this in the wrong bag? Hold on. No, I didn't. and she's in it, and I remember watching that as a kid in the 90s. Is this the right size for this? I'm getting my bags and boards confused. Yeah, first appearance of Poison Ivy. Yeah, so I was so excited to find that book, even though it doesn't have the centerfold. I'm like, I don't care. No, okay, those are modern bags. This book actually has some value in high grade right here. This one. This is Green Lantern 88. Oh, no, it doesn't. It's like an $80 book in high grade. Whatever. It's Neil Adams, man. I love collecting Neil Adams artwork. And this is a cool book. All right, what do we have next? What's left in this pile? Oh, I got a Silver Age Batman here. Here's some cool stuff. This is Justice League, and this is Batman. Look at the prices on these. $35 and $15. Let's look these books up real quick. Hold on. So Batman. Oh, this one won't even have it. This one isn't even a key, so I'm not even going to look it up. But why did I buy this? Because I like Carmine Infantino. This is a really cool Carmine Infantino cover, and it has the covers of all these other books on it. There's Hawkman, Atom, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Superman. Hold on. TikTok is making me verify that I'm still here. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Thank you, TikTok. So I was like, hell yeah. I mean, I'll pick up a cheap, Carmine Infantino Silver Age Batman book all day long. I met Neil Adams years ago. Oh, I would love to have been able to meet Neil Adams. And he told me the story in the iconic Batman 251 cover. Oh, yeah? I mean, it'd be so cool to get a book with a Neil Adams signature eventually. Oh, yeah. And then this, Justice League. What is this? Justice League 14. So hard to type this thing. Well, not 145, 14. And I got to go. Here we go. So this can be a $400 book. Mine obviously is not. This is when Adam joins the Justice League, and this is the first appearance of Hector Hammond with the mutated head caused by the radiated meteor, right? So this is the first appearance of like the leader, basically, in his like big head form, the leader. There's that one Herb Shrimp cover of the leader. This guy with his giant head. Oh, yeah? Wait, which cover are you talking about? Batman 251? Is it the one I'm thinking of? Oh, yeah. This is like the most iconic Neil Adams cover of all time. I will buy this book eventually. I haven't been able to find it for the right price yet, but I definitely want to get this book. It's on my radar. It's definitely what I'm always looking for. Let's see if we can find that panel of the leader. Martian Manhunter. It's kind of awkward because I have to like look around. Oh, there he is. Look, there's the leader with his giant head. He's not green here though. That's pretty cool. Two Silver Age. I love these old Justice League books. I love the fact that this is Justice League 13, so this is so close to the beginning of Justice League in general. There's a lot of cool... I got another really big Justice League key at this convention that I'm pretty happy about. It's low grade, but, you know, if this is your first time watching me, you'll know that low grade is better than no grade is definitely my motto. I like getting the history of these books in my collection. And the thing is, I have a huge omnibus collection that takes up a whole room. So if I want to read old Silver Age comics, Bronze Age comics, whatever, I read it in my omnibuses. And if I want to get these books in my collection, I get them in whatever grade I can afford them, because I don't need them to be in perfect grade. I want them to be good enough. I don't want huge chunks missing or half a cover, you know, whatever else like that. So I don't want it to be like so bad. I just want it to look good enough that I'm going to put it up on my wall of comics and it'll look cool. If you get really close to it, you'll be able to see, yeah, it's, you know, it's not perfect. It's got some flaws, but for the most part, if you're sitting back from it, it's going to look pretty dope, right? That's what I care about when I'm buying these books. I don't need them in perfect condition because I'm not reading them. I want them for the historical significance. If I want to read it, I go to the omnibuses. All right, here's our last three that I'm going to do today. We've got the first appearance of MODOK, Jack Kirby art, Captain America. This is another Tales of Suspense. This is really awesome. We've got Silver Surfer 15. This is a Marie Severin cover, and I'm a huge fan of Marie Severin, so I had to pick this one up, definitely. Human Torch, Silver Surfer going at it. Really cool. And then this. Why did I get this? Because behind me, I've got that book. So I've got the red spider suit version of it, and I've got these. Hold on. I got to switch my camera back. Hold on. Ooh. I got this Funko Pop right here. And this Funko Pop right here. So having both of these Funko Pops, I was like, I need the original comic books. And now I have them. Maybe I'll get this one graded. This one says 9.4 plus. That's what the person I bought it from thinks. I guess it'd be cool to have the graded pair. So here's that book. This is the Marie Severin Silver Surfer, Battle of Silver Surfer, and the Human Torch. And got to be really careful with this one. This is the first appearance of MODOK, and he's actually right there in the corner. MODOK is a hilarious character. I don't know who came up with MODOK, but they did a great job. One thing I've always said, and I collect specifically for this, I love the wacky villains of the Silver Age. And they still have wacky villains in the modern age even sometimes. I mean, look at some of the Flash's villains, Rogues Gallery. But I love getting like first Stiltman, you know, or even the Tarantula I kind of think of as like a wacky villain in a way, because it's so funny that he has spikes on his feet. So MODOK is like the ultimate wacky villain. And now I have his first appearance. Oh my God, this book is falling apart. All right, I need to get this in a bag and board like right now. I think the cover's detached, which is why I got it for so cheap. Don't worry, book. I'm going to put you in this bag and board and never take you out. All right. Be safe, book. Be safe. All right, there you are. Safe. All right, I need another silver and a modern. Here is a modern. Dead air. Got dead air. Okay, I'm gonna do that later. Silver. All right, dead air. There we go. I'm back. This is part of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man run. Everybody knows about this run. It's kind of infamous for not being very good. But the art in it is amazing. The art, Todd McFarlane art, he's never drawn a comic book that I didn't think was just absolutely beautiful. But the storytelling, his first ever go at writing comics wasn't super successful, right? And then I actually think he did, even though Spawn gets very convoluted and stuff, and there's definitely some, like, I wouldn't say Spawn is a masterpiece of story, but I'll tell you this, it's not too bad. The concept of Spawn, the overall concept of Spawn is pretty good, I think. And I have a Spawn #1 right here. And I have a Spawn 8 signed by Todd McFarlane, also back here. Here is Spawn 8, which is mimicking this cover. But it's signed by Todd McFarlane. And this one is actually not in the view of my camera. It's not in the view of this camera because it's off to the side. But I absolutely love having... And it's only 8.0. So this comic isn't super expensive, but it's Todd McFarlane's signature. So whatever, I'll take it. All right. Those are in bag and board. All right, let's grab all the ones from today. Okay, here they all are. In my fresh bag and board. They look beautiful. They're uniform. And now I got to tape these all closed. I'm not going to do that on stream though. But man, is that satisfying. And now what's great is that this is only half the books I got at the con. Actually, this is even less than half the books that I got at the con. I have a whole other stack of Marvel and DC that I'm going to show on stream, that I'm probably going to do the same thing, bag and board, talk about the books. Maybe I'll put this out as its own independent video on YouTube eventually, if you didn't, stick around to watch the stream. But thanks for everyone that came by and asked questions. I love, just interacting with people on the channel when I'm streaming and stuff. And, if you're watching this in the VOD or anything like that, and you have any questions about comic books in general, Pokemon cards, trailers and stuff that have come out, and want my opinion on anything, want to see me talk about anything, leave a comment, let me know. But thanks for everyone that came by, and just, thank you, and like and subscribe.